Hey, Chris21 here with another Why Was This Card Was Made? And this time, I'm not going to be talking about a general card. I'm going to be talking about more of a deck-specific card and why this card should be run at least one copy of. And that is Spiritual Art, or Spiritual Light Art. I have no idea how to say the last name, but it'll be down there like always, except for I don't think I did that with the first one. I'm not too sure. But alright, now let me read what this card says. Tribute one light monster to target one banished monster. Your opponent can reveal one trap card from their hand to negate this card's effect. Otherwise, you can special summon that monster. Why would this card be good? And I probably haven't said this right, but this card would be pretty dang good in Heretics. Why? Because well, except for him. Him. Sorry. It's kind of backwards. Except for him. He's the only one that this won't really affect. But all these three right here, put those two down. These three have the tribute effect when this card is tributed. And this is a mandatory effect. So therefore, no matter when it gets tributed, it will go off. Now, tributing is a cost in this case. So therefore, even if they negate the special summon, you will still get the special summon off of this card, off of the card you tributed, as long as it's a heretic monster that has it. So therefore, this card would be pretty dang good in it. Why? Because you get the chance to do a double summon into a seed into a big boss monster that will help you out. Tribute one of these, activate this, they don't negate it, you tribute this, you special summon, you get probably one of the monsters that you banished with him because you used them already or whatever. But alright, now I'm gonna move on to the second part. Having this card, and I'm gonna read this card effect, even though it's pretty long. Alright? I will not say his name because I have no idea how to say it. And this card isn't the card, this is the card. Alright? Cannot be normal summon or set. Must be first special summoned from your hand by banishing 3 dragon type normal monsters from your grave. Once per turn, you can banish 1 dragon type monster from your grave. You target 1 card on the field and destroy that target. So there's your banishing engine for your targets for this. Even if this gets Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment, or Bottomless, or Trenchel, or Compulse, you still get the banish. And that's really all you want if you would use this. Which this card is pretty good, in my opinion. Because it can help you get the extra tribute. And even if they negate this card, you still get to know what trap card they have in their hand. So therefore you can plan accordingly. And if you run more than one of these, you can know up to 3 trap cards that they have in their hand if they decide to negate it. Having this card and using it will put your opponent in a very big pickle. Why? Because they will have to decide, do I want them to have the advantage of knowing what trap card I have? Or do I want them to have the advantage of special summoning and be able to exceed summon into something else? They will be in a very big pickle. Because maybe they have a very good trap card that they're saving, and it's the only trap card they have. Because you haven't used your Heavy Storm yet. They have 2 cards on the field that are probably a Compulse and an MST. maybe a bottomless, and they probably have some trap card in their hand that they're saving. This card could. This card really isn't going to be very dominant right now. Reason why? Because until the September ban list comes out, and we figure out what gets hit, Heretics. I honestly think Heretics will probably be one of the decks that don't get hit. Why? Because this deck isn't very broken to the extent that of what people are running. How people are running it, if this deck gets off, it goes. But it's pretty easy to stop them from getting it off. Because you got your warnings, you got your bottomless, you got your torrentials, you got your compulse. I have honestly compulsed their a Heretics big level 8 monster. Compulsive. Literally, I go like this. They summon it out this turn. I draw into a compulsory evacuation device. I set it in my turn. Their standby phase, I compulse it. So they can't use its effect. So, having those cards right now is a pretty bad thing. At least for Heretics, because it'll slow them down. But getting a card bottomless with this card wouldn't be too bad. Now let me get back to the main topic. This card is pretty good. The wording of it is very nice. Very nice to you. However, the wording of the only banishing card that I know of for Heretics is not very nice. Because this card isn't very good. It's only good in various situations. You don't want to run him very often. And if you do, you would only run one of them. So therefore you would have to rely on your opponent banishing other than you banishing to run this. Now this card would be very nice if Heretics had more options of banishing. Other than that, they don't. So running this card really depends on what build you have. If you run a build where you want this card, run at least one copy of this. Because if you can get him off and get this guy and get this card, you can be able to do a little bit more plays, or be able to get some information off of your opponent's hand. So if you run one of him, I suggest you run one of him if you are doing Heretics, because this card is pretty good if you can get it off. That's the only problem with Heretics. They deal with tributing and going to the grave and all that. I don't really think Macrocosma. Oh, because this says tribute. Let me see here. When this card is tributed, yeah. So Macrocosma and Defissure don't really affect Heretics because it doesn't say tribute to the grave, tribute and send to the grave. It just says tributed. So therefore, it doesn't matter where the target ends up, but as long as the effect that is being used is a tributing. That is why it wasn't really effective. You run Macrocosma in these. However, it could affect you a little bit in the end because you do rely on your grave a little bit, at least from what I've seen. You use your grave a little bit, but you mainly usually special summon from your deck and thin out your deck a lot and a lot and a lot every turn, at least as most as you can. But because I don't think they use their grave too much, so I think running a Macrocosm or a Defissure in this in a Heretic deck would actually probably be a smart idea. I just don't think anyone thought of it because they weren't really thinking about Heretics. They were thinking about Chaos Dragon and all that. They weren't thinking. People were thinking, I could run Red Eyes with this because they're all dragons. What if you use main deck Macrocosm? That eliminates your red eyes, so you don't run red eyes. You just do Heretics, and the targeting effect wouldn't really matter, and you could screw over your opponent. And yeah, honestly, if I had some of the other cards, I would probably build Heretics with Macrocosm in it. But I only have these four. I have a playset of these, and I currently trading my other one. But I only have one of these. But at the moment, Heretics could eventually become a good deck as long as they don't get hit by the ban list. So right now, go on Dueling Network, make a Heretic deck, and test this card out. Run it at 1, because I'm pretty darn sure a lot of people will be doing bottomless on your stuff. So if not bottomless, they'll be probably running D-Fish or Macrocosma. So this card could eventually be good for you. But just run it at 1. If you're a Heretic player, maybe you already know about this. If you have, tell me in the comments how you've done testing with it. Because I just found the card, read it, thought of all the plays that you could do with it. So yeah, this is Crystalline21. Like this video if you think Heretics are at least somewhat decent deck. Just thumbs down if you don't like shinies. If you don't like shinies, there it is. Thumbs this video down, because this is the only rarity it comes in. And it is from, because I know people are going to want to ask, it is from Galactic Overlord. The exact same set of Heretics. This is a super in it. It is from Galactic Overlord. For those of you that want to know the little thing down on this corner, it's GAOV. GAOV. Alright? Galactic Overlord. So yeah, this is Crystalline21. I hope you liked this and found it informative. If not, you probably aren't playing Heretics or are interested in learning about new decks new stuff that you could be playing. You're just looking at meta. So yeah, this is Crystalline21. Peace, and there we go.